Greetings, everyone. Welcome to the fourth episode of Hearthcenter this season. I am Lotus Knight, one of your hosts for tonight, and I am joined by the best crew THL has to offer. Tonight, with me, we have on the top left corner. He's been here a lot. He took a break last week because he didn't want to see Donde. His favorite Hearthstone card, as everyone knows, is the Defias Cannoneer. We have Corrodin.
Yeah, no, I had to dodge Dawn Day last week, so I had to take a bit of a breather. Happy to be back. It's good to be back. And yeah, ready to get in some Hearthstone stuff. And I think you missed on that one, Lotus. I'm not a massive fan of Quest Warrior, to be fair.
No, that's good.
No.
It's a good one, especially for wild players. I know they like it a lot. Second here on our top right corner, we have the player who's been with me, or the host who's been with me the whole time this season, the one and only Super Chicken, whose favorite card is well known as well. It is the new Edwin Van Cleef. I forget his name. Edwin something something.
Yeah, Edwin Defias Kingpin, I think.
Huh?
I
It's
think
your
that's
favorite,
right.
you would know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
How are
Another
you?
Defias card. We just love them.
Yeah. Yeah. How are you doing tonight, Chicken?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. Next we have on the bottom left corner, we have the one and only. I don't even know how many times he's won crossover in THL, but he is here tonight joining us with his favorite card that he told me right before his Alliance banner man. We have Neji Boston.
Yeah, I love Bannerman. Paladin is just such a fun class to play. Really,
Right?
yeah, it's just probably the best deck in the game right now at all ranks. I definitely would nerf it.
Yeah. And last but not least, bottom right corner, we have just spell mage and quest mage extraordinaire, Twitter baiter, the one and only Nails, whose favorite card everyone knows is Silverleaf Poison.
Yeah, that card is great. I've been farming all sorts of rogues on ladder. Love Silverleaf Poison.
Nice.
Give me more of them.
So, y'all know how this show goes. We're going to talk about some of the best moments for the week. We're going to go over Legacy, Hero, and Pro. We won't do Wild since there's a Wild only show that is going to take place on Thursday. So, that being said, everyone ready to talk about Player of the Week to start what happened this week?
Get into it.
Awesome. So for our first Player of the Week, Nails, do you want to read who is our Hero Player of the Week?
Yeah, so for Hero Player of the Week, we've got Snipe Hunter. In a winner takes all 5 seed match, Snipe Hunter prevailed over opposing captain 2-star Mako in Game 5 to give APM Yin a 15-14 comeback win after starting the tie 3-8 down. The win was Snipe Hunter's third in as many weeks and moved APM into second place in Purple Conference.
Nice. Congratulations, Snipe Hunter, for being the Hero Player of the Week.
Clutch
Uh,
dub.
yeah. Neji, do you want to go over our Legacy Player of the Week?
Sure. We have Wicked Good. With a 3-0 start of the season, Wicked Good has been on fire for pod people, and this week he wasn't cooling off. Doing it in style with an unorthodox pre-spring each week gives testament to the top-notch play we see, cashing in when the points were needed most. Wicked Good and team locked in an incredibly close week versus a hard opponent in HSA, and a huge crossover week. Keep up the amazing play, Wicked Good. Congratulations.
Awesome. Congratulations, Wicked Good, on winning Player of the Week for Legacy. Gordon, do you want to tell us our Pro Player of the Week?
Yeah, certainly. So this one came in from a nomination sheet as well. So For pro, we've got Rocara Mexico, aka Ron Mexico. Captain Ron, no, Captain Rocara. Despite bringing the questionable Quest Warrior deck and starting his series down 0-2, Ron managed to bring it back by sweeping Rogue and securing the win for himself and the team in Game 5. Much like the Juggernaut, nothing can stop Ron. That's coming from our hat.
Nice. Congratulations, Ron, on being player of the weekend pro and saving me who got 3-0'd in pro. And it was not a fun experience. That said, everyone ready for us to hop in and talk about Hero Series first?
Yeah, let's go.
Awesome.
Can't wait.
So to open our Hero Series, Chicken, why don't you go over what happened in the standings for Teal Conference this week?
Yeah, so Teal's shaken up a little bit since the last time we looked at the standings. In first, we have no pros here at 57 points. Then tied for second, we have the unknown and make a 5 seed out of a mole at 52 points. In fourth, we have APM Yang at 45 points. In fifth, we have Booty Bay Yacht Club at 41 points. In sixth, we have Hordy on Main with 39. And in last, we have Korak City with 38 points.
Interesting to see NPH just starting to gain traction. The team was not at number one last week. What changed? Any interesting thoughts there, Chicken?
I think the main thing that changed was make a 5 seed out of a mole losing their week. I think
Sure.
dropping a good amount in their points per week. I mean, I think we're going to go over that a little bit later on the show, so I
Yes.
won't spoil too much. But yeah, I think which is my team. Yeah, we dropped some points this week, so I think
Sure.
that gave the other top end teams that were a bit more consistent some extra leeway to move into first.
Sure. Some fighting words right there. To tell us what is happening on the other side of Hero, Neji, do you want to go over the Purple Conference?
For sure. Purple is looking very similar to last week. We still have Golden Wisps crushing it 3-0. They have over 20 points per week right now, 61 points in total. Then we have APM Yin, who now is in second place with 49. F2L Black has 45 in third. At Diamond, 35 points. Team at Any Cost, 32. Dad Legend 31 and LeBron with 26 at the bottom there. So yeah, surprising start for a few of these teams. We got 3 0-3 teams in purple, so we're already getting a
Yeah,
clear cut top teams right now. So we'll have to see if those teams can bounce back.
for sure. Honestly, I was not expecting to see 3-0-3 teams when I was taking the standings here.
We're getting a clear-cut free conference too. With like there's 3-0-3 teams, and there's no 3-0-3 teams in Teal. So that just means all of the crossover games went Teal's way, or nearly all of them.
That
Um,
is true. That's true. It means a lot of them must have gone Teal's way. Now, to take a look at the first match, Nails, why don't you go over Korak City versus F12 Black?
sure. So like just it's a pretty close series. Lots of lots of 3-2 games. Ron took a
Mm-hmm.
3-1 win over Neji. Dande or Rebob took a 3-2 win over Dande. The Big Ted took a 3-2 win over Itachi. Anfall swept Shu, and Fish swept Quad, or won 3-2 over Quaz rather.
Hmm.
Um, so like comfortable win for Quark City. Thanks in large part to the to Anfall's sweep. They had the win without it, I guess, but
Yeah,
that was like all of, or a big part of their margin at least.
Oh, for sure. Sweeps always really help to get some points. Neji, any thoughts on your team's match here since you were there when it happened?
I was there. Well, not really because I haven't got any wins yet this season. So I don't know if I've actually been there, but yeah, it was a close week. Um, Team got a decent amount of points. Shu started the week off, I believe, getting swept, so we had to climb back a little bit. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the win, and Itachi didn't get the win either. But Fish and Rebob holding it down 3-0 still, so they
Yeah,
are definitely putting their best foot forward right now.
for sure. I mean, does it feel like it's your chance to relax a bit after carrying your whole team in Legacy last season?
Maybe. I mean, I also did poorly in Hero last season, so I'm kind of just dead weight at this point.
No,
Fair,
you
um,
started poorly in Hero last season. You,
this
you,
is
you brought it
true.
back.
Yes.
fair.
So hopefully I can bring it back this week or this season too. It's been a rough go, so we'll have to wait and see.
Sure.
Yeah,
Um,
you're on pace to make finals again.
Yeah, I'm hopefully I can actually win a match in playoffs.
nice. Anyone has any other comments about Korax City versus F12 Black before we move into our second match?
Just what they say. Neji's a good player. Everyone can have an off season. It's the overall record that shows.
True.
Hmm.
So, for our next match, Corridon, do you want to go over the Unknown versus LeBran?
Yeah, let's get into it. All right, so taking a quick look here, the unknown is still one of those 3-0 team, having a fantastic season so far, and to everybody's surprise, I think LeBrand still unable to find that elusive first win. And it kind of shows for the team. Molstar being taken down by Base in a 3-1. Close one there. Nails getting the win over Chewy in a very tight 3-2 matchup. Magnificent actually taking a sweep over Astral Frog, who is still looking for a win. And it's kind of the way for LeBrand at the moment. Thalfix taking a 3-2 over the winless Lemur, and Jim Velos undefeated on the season, keeping that streak alive, taking a 3-1 victory over Roadrunner. I mean, the work is just being put in by the unknown's bottom three seeds here.
Yeah,
You know, both all of them are positive on the season so far. Chewy just getting handed the second loss. It's still early on, and obviously Molstar subbing out in a previous week, but it's a deep team. Jim is fantastic in the five, and I think a lot of people aren't aware of that. And I think even Magnificent in the three seed is showing how strong he truly is there.
for sure. Well, since we have a player here from LeBran, I'm going to ask Nails any thoughts on this match that Corridon hasn't said yet.
Um, not too much really. My side against Chewy was pretty close, but yeah, it's just been a rough start for the team as a whole. Like not like Based is doing good work in the one seed, and then the rest of us are combined 1 and 12 or 1 and 11. So um, we gotta step it up. She's currently doing the Neji Boston from last year's Legacy season, where she's got
Sure,
more wins than the rest of the team combined.
sure. That's fair. Well, there isn't too
Um,
much time to go. Teams need to start fast because, see, 3 weeks are already over.
yeah, Hero season's not that long.
No.
I think that we're capable of bouncing back. It's pretty much it's 4 out of the 5 the same squad from last year. We made Hero semis, but yeah,
Yeah,
we're not. This isn't gonna cut it. We've got to do better.
true. Definitely true. Anyone has any other comments about this match before we move into our final match of the night? All right. Our final match of the night, we've already mentioned it tonight. We have the number one team in each conference from last week facing each other. We had the Golden Wisps versus make a 5 seed out of a molehill. And we'll talk to Chicken, who was in the match itself. Chicken, how did this match go?
Yeah, it was a fairly close match. You know, a 5 point difference. Wasn't exactly decided by a single match, but it was definitely pretty back and forth. Um, yeah, I
Mm,
mean, Golden Wisps, I think, are possibly the strongest team on paper in all of Hero Series, and I think, uh, yeah, they're. I would pick them to win their entire conference and make it to the finals. I think
sure.
if they don't make it to the finals, or you could even say even if they don't even win Hero Series, it would be a pretty big upset looking at their roster.
Yeah.
So yeah, Aquaman took my series 3-0. Always Lethal took his 3-2. Nine took down Mick 3-1. Skirt managed to beat out MPV 3-2, and You Kit and Me lost to Lupin 3-0.
Mm. It's a very strong showing from the Golden Wisps. Just another strong week. Corridon, any thoughts on the Golden Wisps versus make a 5 seed out of a molehill?
This was probably one of the matchups a lot of people are going to be talking about. Two of the top teams, I think. Well, albeit clearly both undefeated coming into this one here, and Golden Wisps are still hanging on strong in Hero at least, and putting on a show. Even in losses, getting points, which is really key for when a team's at the top of the standings. That's really what you're looking for is even in your game losses that you can find some points and trying not to get swept.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult, especially in Hero when it's such polarizing decks can really just sweep across the board in a closed deck format and not expecting what you see. So it's good to see any points coming out of the Golden Wisps.
Now, I have a question here, and I'm going to direct this one at Neji Boston. Neji, tell me here, all the bans in this match are rogue bans. What does that tell you?
Hmm. That's hard to read. All 10 bans are rogue. I would lean towards saying that rogue is a bit powerful and that we should probably completely gut it in the next nerf patch.
Fair?
Whoa.
I mean, that doesn't seem to be happening, but that's fair.
Yeah, I mean, especially because it's Hero Series, right? It's so
Yeah.
risky to leave up Rogue, because Rogue is so ridiculously strong right now, and Rogue getting at least like 2 or 3 wins is pretty likely. So I think unless you have a very specific strategy, um, leaving up Rogue is might be trolling. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's also not like you can bring some counter decks, right? Because your opponent could easily be playing, the other rogue archetype
Yeah.
from the
Hmm.
one you're trying to counter. So
Yeah.
yeah, just they don't just have like the best deck in the game; they have the two best decks in the game, just
Yes.
just to make things worse.
And
Fair.
then the third and fourth best rogue decks are still up there. They're not that much worse.
Yeah, they're not they're not even
No.
unplayable.
No, you can still bring Garrote or Quest. It's fine. Any final thoughts about Hero Series before we move to Legacy? All right. So we're going to start Legacy by the Gold Conference, and to tell us what is going on in Legacy Gold, we have Neji Boston.
Yeah, we have pod people sitting at the top of Gold Conference, 20 points per week, 3-0, and 60 points. Really, really strong. Clownstone Academy, second with 55. Then we have Devias with 46. Illidan's Death Knights have 38, and so do Fish. And then DeStubbs with 37. Agent P's Golden Showers 33, and Not Justin with 31. I would say just look at the standings and how it's been going. There are a couple surprises. First, I don't think anybody expected Agent P's Golden Showers to be at the bottom of the conference. They were in the finals last
Yeah,
season. They're a very strong team. And then also Pod People. I don't think people were too up on Pod People, but they've been proving everybody wrong and just crushing it every single week. So kudos to them. Let's see if they can keep it rolling.
for sure. I'm sure Hat is very happy with how Pod People is doing. And let's start talking about the Pod People. Neji, how did Pod People do this week?
Yeah, Pod People face off against Hearthstone Academy. HSA was also 2-0 going into this week, so they were a pretty strong team. And Pod People still got the win. It was very close, 13-11. So we have Hat with a 3-1 over Hockey Boys. Ron got a 3-1 over Dragon Rider on stream. Starlax 3-1 over Big Ted. Wicked Good 3-1 over Cherub. And Shu swept Swaybe. Yeah, really close match overall.
Really close match. I'm surprised there were no 3-2s.
Yeah, the really dominant individual showings from the 5 winners.
Right?
Like only the losers of the matches or the losers of the sets only won 4 games total in a series. Like just really low points gained by both teams in the series, I guess.
Yeah. Um, I'm going to ask Chicken, do you have any thoughts on Pod People versus Hearthstone Academy that we haven't said yet?
Yeah, I mean the discussion of who's the best 5 seed in Legacy continues, with Shu continuing his winning ways. I know there's a bit of discussion going into the match this week. So yeah, I mean
Mm-hmm.
Shu's looking really good. Yeah, Ron is looking really, really strong as a 4 seed as well. Yeah, I think Hearthstone Academy has some really, really strong players, and on the other end, Arhat, Starlax, and Wicked Good are all 3-0. So
Yeah.
they seem their consistency is really helping out the pod people.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, definitely see it continuing. Especially Starlax and Wicked Good. They're pretty significantly over PR'd for their seed. It looks like.
Yes,
So I think in general they're gonna find a lot of success going forward.
for sure. Sure. I mean, Wicked Good has a lot of experience doing the tournament write-ups, right? It was just a matter of time until he blew up.
Yeah, I'm surprised to see him actually in a 4 seed. I mean,
Yeah,
I guess he is just an under PR'd player. I mean, he has so much experience, just analyzing like tournament lineups and stuff like that.
for sure.
So I think you know, in the 4 seed, he's a really really strong player, and I think he'll probably bring a lot to the team in general with his
Yes.
kind of experience and knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things. There are players that, well, he is 3-0, but even if you don't have the best record, there are players that just perform amazingly from their ability to help their teammates, and how passionate they are about their teams. Speaking of passionate teams, Nails is now going to go over the result of Fish versus Muo Hearthstone, or however you say this name.
Yeah, Fish took a close victory over Miami University of Ohio at Hearthstone. I'm pretty sure that's what they are.
Fair?
Yeah.
Um, Sick. I wasn't completely sure, but I was moderately sure. Um, Izat took a sweep over Nice Jewish Owl. That one was on stream. Did some extremely dirty things to Owl's Miracle Priest, uh,
Sure.
including twisting nethering full board. That was painful to watch. Uh,
Hmm.
Jester took a 3-2 win over Sam C's Ghosts. Dragon Ninja took a 3-1 win over Vampire Nighthawk. Trito 2 took a 3-1 win over Steffi, and Two Fly took a 3-2 victory over Mojo Powell. For they're also throwing their hats in the ring for best 5 seed discussion.
For sure. For sure. Now, Corden, any thoughts on Fish versus Muo Hearthstone?
I mean, it's as close as you can get without truly tying.
Yes.
I mean, it was important for Fish because they finally got the first win. It sets them in the middle of the pack for the standings. Once you kind of find yourself behind, it can be difficult to catch up and find points, and you're kind of counting on other teams to falter so you can gain rank. So it's
Sure.
nice for them to find a good point, but also for MUOH, it's really good to put up 12 points in a loss. I mean, outside of NJO being swept, which is pretty unheard of for a player like that, the entire team rallied and put up as many points as they could. So it's really good from both teams, for Fish to finally get the win and put up some nice points, and MUOH as well in the loss to put up some solid points and keep
Yeah,
keep going forward.
for sure. Anyone has any final thoughts to share about Fish versus MUOH Hearthstone or about Legacy Gold?
Yeah, I think MUOH has been struggling a bit to start the season. It looks like Dragon Ninja was Dragon Ninja subbed out the first 2 weeks. I mean, that's what it looks like.
Yeah,
I
it
think
seems to be
because
the
I
case.
remember because I thought at the start of the season he was originally supposed to be like their normal 3 seed. So I guess he had just started this week, and I think
Yeah.
he's definitely a very above average 3 seed. Having he's having qualified to a Masters tour before
Yes.
and done reasonably well if I remember correctly. So I think he's gonna bring up their points per week a good amount,
Yeah.
and I think like I mean, as we can see here, right? Like this match was incredibly close. So, a lot of these matches really depend on just a couple of points. And getting a couple extra points and giving your team the win is the difference between getting, like 12 points on the week or like 18 points on the week, which is huge.
Sure.
So I think we could see MUOH Hearthstone improve over the next few weeks and potentially get into playoffs.
Sure. Yeah. It wouldn't be surprising, and we will see them in the legacy in the standing for Red Conference. But I would not give up if I were in Nice Jewish Owls team because there's still a good chance there. Now, moving on to Legacy or to Red Conference, Corridon, do you want to tell us how the standings look?
Yeah, it's a pretty close one over in the Red Conference. You do see with Gold, Pod People, and Clown are very close, but for Red Conference, Just Win coming in at 51 points, F2L White just behind them with 3, and then F2L with 48 as well. Really going in on the imposter syndrome there and just copying their points, double downing on their team record as well as points per week. Just really going the full length of the of taking over F2L.
Yep.
Dad Legend with 43, Chaos Theory 40, MUOH with 35, SPG is at 33, and then everyone's a winner, tied as well at 33 points.
This seems a lot closer than the other conference. I might be wrong, but at least no team looks super ahead of anyone else, and there are a lot of teams that are just accumulated in small clusters. How do you see this, Corridon?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of nailed it. It's just a lot of cluster from, one to even, one to three is extremely close, and then you go down and 4 to 5 is really close. So it's still anyone's game. A big week from any of these teams is more than enough to propel them higher up in the standings because, with one good week, there's always a bad week for somebody else. But um, it's
Mm-hmm.
pretty interesting to see how close it really is when you saw the big disparity in Gold Conference.
For sure. Now, to look into our first match, we're going to have Super Chicken to tell us about Just Win versus the Stubbs. on their legacy match. And I want to ask you, Chicken, is this always Justin Time's PR management season?
Certainly, this is his worst start to a legacy season that I've seen since I've been in THL, which is just over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was telling me that he's been having a bit of a rough start to legacy and hero this season, but that hasn't stopped Team Just Win from just winning their matches. Despite Infinite and Always Just in Time struggling in their respective seeds, the bottom seeds are really
Yeah.
what have taken off for Just Win and have given them so many points. Skirt Reynolds, who may actually be the best 5 seed, has not lost a single THL match this season across Legacy
Wow.
and Hero. Currently 6-0. So that's just insane.
Wow.
And I think the big difference for Team Just Win this season is in their 4 seed in Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
who I think, he was around kind of even in his record, like whatever it was, 5-5 or something like that.
Yeah.
But off to a great start this season. So I think he's really been working on his play a lot and really improved in the off season, and I think it's really showing.
For sure. Neji, any thoughts you want to share about Just Win versus the Stubbs?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely surprising to see Justin at 0-3. But people have off seasons or off weeks. I mean, this has only been 3 weeks. He can definitely bounce back. Like Chicken said, the bottom seeds on Just Win are definitely carrying for the team. And I mean, they're in first place in their conference. So definitely still a really strong team. And if they can get Justin going as well, I mean, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with for sure. And the Stubbs, I mean, they kept it really close, 14-11. So nothing to scoff at there. If they can keep it going and maybe get a few more wins, they will also be in the playoff picture.
For sure.
You mentioned if they can get Justin going. There are 3 of the Justins on that team that are going quite well, in fact.
They really are.
Oh,
Mm.
also I reached out to Wild Rose for a comment on his missing ban, and he told me I literally forgot. And he still won his match 3-1. So
Wow.
I'm assuming Minnie was able to pick his ban,
Yes.
and then Wild Rose still won, which is pretty crazy.
Actually, I
Wow.
don't think if you ban something, I think he has all 4 decks available. I just
Mhm.
think
He
he
just
gets.
has to get 3 over the line.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
Oh.
pretty
yeah, that would
sure
make
he
sense
doesn't.
in
I don't think
Hero.
he gets to pick a ban. I think he just has all 4 decks available, and he can bring whatever is needed to come out, and just gets 3 exactly as you said. So, yeah,
Wow. Well, surprise Wild Rose still won in these conditions, but congratulations, Wild Rose, for quite a win.
Just built different. Maybe you should pass his ban every match.
Hey, if that works, just don't tell Hat because that would be a pain to just have someone miss every time. Also confuses us because we just keep looking at these and thinking, what is going on? Why is this missing? That said, everyone ready to talk about our second match? So the second match in red that we're talking about is F12 White facing the Cooler. And to talk about it, we have Corridon. What happened here?
well, what happened was the Cooler took a win over F2L White. Doesn't seem to be. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. Yeah, no, the Cooler taking a win over F2L White here. Um, pretty good. It's an average win here for the Cooler. It's really nice to keep going. It helps them out in their season. I think, are they gold or silver conference? I think they're silver, correct?
Silver. Yes, there's the
Yeah,
third place in
so
silver.
we'll be seeing where they'll be sitting. Yeah, so I mean, third place is really good. It's really key to win these crossover matches. I think it's always a good to win every match you can. But if you can find essentially, I wouldn't say free points, but just really good points coming into
Mm-hmm.
it. And I mean, they were probably what I would say the underdogs coming into this one with F2L when you see what's across the board from them. And really, Snipe Hunter doing extremely well on the 5 seed. I know taking the hero player of the week, but really could have almost taken Legacy as well at this case. Pretty close matchups all across the board. Nobody got swept, so points going to both teams pretty substantially. And first losses coming across to Tino's and Anfall, but and even Rebob as well. So really good for the cooler to pull this one off.
Yeah. Nails, any thought on F12 White versus the cooler?
Um, Nothing really. I don't know. I think it was pretty well covered. Um,
Sure.
Seen a lot of rogue bans, just as we've been seeing in every other series at every point, and that's what you're meant to be doing. So
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
job to the teams in this series for generally banning rogue.
Some people can forget to ban rogues sometimes, but it's true. It's still a very good strategy. Even in Legacy, even though it doesn't have the hero thing of in hero it can sweep you very easily, but it's still a menace in Legacy.
In
Um,
Legacy, it can beat you once very easily.
yes, very easily. It's basically guaranteed at this point. Now, before we move into silver, I want to open if anyone has any comments about FL White versus the cooler or comments about the red conference in general. And we did, Zerosha, we did talk about the pod people. They are fantastic. But there are still some great teams to listen, and we're going to be talking about Silver Conference really soon and about Pro Series. So, any thoughts on anyone, anything else to talk about Red Conference before we move to Silver?
Really inspiring to see that Team Justin is in first place, showing that discriminating based on name is potentially the best way to build a team in Team Hearth Legends.
Yeah, it's fair.
And you can be in first with a 1 seed that's 0-3.
Also
You sure
true.
can.
Also true.
Maybe you should try that out, Chicken and Neji. Well,
I have.
Neji is trying that out.
I
Actually.
have tried that out. It's my strategy, actually. Thank you.
Now, I will take this opportunity to move us into the Silver Conference. And to tell us what is going on at Silver, we have Nails going over the Silver standings.
Yeah, so we in first place we got Hot Zelfs with I don't know, a hot 20 points per week, uh, easily leading the or comfortably leading the pack through 3 weeks in Silver Conference. HSA, uh, 52 points, not they're within sight of the Zolfs, the Cooler, Dirty Mike and the boys, and APM. Kind of have a little cluster close behind mid 40s points. And then the Colton Golden Wisps are a ways back of that third through fifth cluster. And STD not having a great showing so far this season.
Mm-hmm.
In last place.
Yeah, this one is a lot more of a ladder of a conference. We can see basically teams at every point total, and there's not as much of a pattern of clusters. It's much more linear, it seems.
Yeah, you've got clear tiers of teams.
Mm-hmm.
Zolfson tier one, then just the uh, 5 to 10 point. Every 5 to 10 points or so, you've got a new bracket.
Yeah,
A couple teams.
that is
Um,
fascinating. Now, Nails, I'll ask you to go over our first match. for Silver Conference, we had All Points Matter from Silver facing the team no one likes saying the name because they do not know how to say it. So tell me a bit, Nails, how did this match go?
Really close set. 14-13 win for F2L over APM. Bruto taking 3-2 win over Avi. Magnificent with a 3-1 win over Cheesy 10. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the Chosen Pie taking a 3-0 win over Why the Hunter. Uh, Jolt C with a 3-2 win over Two Star Mako, and Laughing Frog taking a 3-2 win over Judo Chop. Um,
1 point
just
difference.
yeah, really close series across the board. The F2 all taking 3 set wins, just being the decider. So just a team effort uh, from F2L.
For sure. For sure. A really strong showing by Team IF2L, or however you say this team name. Um, I'll hop on to Super Chicken here. Any thoughts on All Points Matter versus IF2L?
Yeah, I mean, insanely close match here. Only one sweep as well, the Chosen Pie with a 3 over Y the Hunter, but I know the result I would have expected. I definitely expected Bruto and Magnificent to get wins here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I don't think I would have expected Why the Hunter to lose so handily to the Chosen Pie. Being a Pro Series veteran,
Yeah.
I would definitely expect them to do well in a 3 seed in Legacy. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely think the Chosen Pie could have taken a win here, but for it to be 3-0 like that, it definitely shows that maybe the Chosen Pie was a little more prepared for the match, I think.
Sure.
Maybe brought some decks that were a bit stronger.
Sure.
Um yeah, just looking at it, does seem like why the Hunter deck specifically didn't really have a good fit into the Chosen Pies lineup.
Oh,
But yeah,
okay.
But yeah, I mean, I think both of these teams are pretty strong in general, and I think we're gonna see a lot more success from both of them going forward.
Oh, yeah. I would be surprised if we don't see these teams at least be in the runout for playoffs. That would be shocking. Anyone has any comments about this match before we move into our last legacy match of the night? All right. So to talk about our last legacy match of the night, we have Neji Boston.
Yeah, for our last match, we have Golden Wisps versus Agent P's Golden Showers. Both of these teams were 0-2 going into this week, so one of them was going to come out with their first win, and it was the Golden Wisps. We had Always Lethal take a 3-1 over Agent Pee-wee, Mick 3-2 over Nails, Turtle with a 3-2 over MPV, Falfix with a 3-1 over Pace, and Eternal took it 3-1 over Roadrunner. I mean,
Mm,
I think it's pretty obvious that it's surprising that Agent P's Golden Showers 1 and 2 seed are combined 1 and 5 when they're two of the strongest players in THL. So that's definitely a surprise. And just Agent P's Golden Showers being in finals last season, um, it is a surprise to see them 0 and 3. But with their roster, I could definitely see them pulling it back in the next few weeks. And
mm,
yeah, overall, a really close match.
yeah. I'm going to open to the player from Agent PWE's Golden Showers. We have Nails. So, what happened to the Golden Showers here? Why the cold start?
I'm not really too sure. We maybe haven't been as active discussing just the game in our server as we have been, but I know Pee Wee and I have been actively playing ladder and
Sure.
just like I don't know, our opponents have been good too, and I think we've just happened to lose a couple sets.
That can happen.
I think we should be able to bounce back somewhat comfortably, but I mean, it's obviously a little bit concerning. I think we're. I have confidence in my teammates that we can bounce back, but
Mhm.
just have to uh, grind out some dubs.
Yeah. There's definitely still time to come back. The gap isn't as large as it may seem, especially since Silver right now the farthest away team in the top four would be DMB, who's 9 points away. That's not a lot for the Golden Wisps. Similar for Agent PWEs in the other conference.
Yeah, I mean, we're only 5 points back of IDK for the fourth seed right now.
Yeah.
There's a pretty big jump in front of them, and there's like a cluster of teams at 38 points. But like we're still in the hunt, even if we're 0-3 and in seventh place in the conference. We're right there chasing for the fourth seed. And then once we're in the play, like I don't think we got a bye last season. We started in the round of 12
Mhm.
and just made a run. So
Yeah.
it's all about getting hot at the right time and knowing the patch for playoffs, I guess.
True. Um, I want to just ask Corden a question here. These two teams were basically they were this was the semifinals for Legacy last season, right? Um, is the level for Legacy this season that much higher that these teams are not already shining, or is something else going on, Corden?
Um, I don't know. It's tough to say. I think a lot of players have come back. I think a lot of older teams have come back. So maybe, it could be a mix of new to old players not really knowing how they play. It's
Sure.
also a massive conference, so it is difficult to really get settled in.
Sure.
To how things feel. I mean, Golden Wisps, we just saw them over in Hero doing extremely well for themselves. I think it's pretty much the exact same team,
Sure.
if I'm not mistaken, like jumbled up a little bit seed wise. So, um,
Mhm.
and I don't think this early in the season. Maybe if you see this is week 5, week 6, and you're seeing scores like this, but I'm not really too worried about either of these teams. I think they both have the full capability to put their nose to the grindstone and really push for some high quality finishes and really make a difference. I mean, there's still a lot of weeks left in the Legacy Conference, in Legacy in general right now. So I wouldn't ship anybody out just yet.
It's
Fair.
worth noting that the Golden Wisps hero team, like the 1, 2, and 3 seeds from their legacy team are the 2, 3, and 4 seeds on the hero team, and they have Aquaman in the one. And so just having
Fair.
everyone ship a slot is on average going to uh, see them perform better.
Fair.
Um,
Any final comments anyone wants to share about Legacy, Silver, or Legacy in general?
except for the 1 versus 2 seed, of course. The 2 seed's harder, but
Fair.
um,
Fair.
Yeah, I don't think this version of the Golden Wisps is, like as Nails mentioned, it's not as strong as the one in Hero. So I don't think it's necessarily fair to expect them to be in first place or anything as
Sure.
they should be in Hero.
Sure.
I am pretty surprised to see Roadrunner struggling like in both Hero and Legacy. I think he's 0-3 in both. Despite having some pretty strong showings last season. Yeah, I'm not. I honestly have like. I mean, I don't know him, so I don't really know what's going on. But it is really odd to see someone have like such a strong season and follow it up without even being able to get a win yet.
Sure. Well, I'll take that as an opportunity to keep us going and move us to Bro Series so we can end the show on time. To go over the pro standings, I believe we have Corden going over what's going on in the Black Conference.
Absolutely. So into the Black Conference for the Pro Series, we come. First place, you've got Clowns Reloaded with 61, but right on their tails is Avenging Prophet Morabi. And then there's quite a gap here, almost 10 points for third place, F2L with 48. Everyone's a winner, close behind with 43. And then yet again, another gap, about 13 points with Faction at 30, Taggers coming in at 29, Sheepies and Mr. Smiteside tied for 24 points apiece, and Mancrick's Multiple Wives tied for 23. Now, it is important to realize that a lot of these gaps are usually created by bye weeks that have happened, as Mr. Smiteside, Taggers, and Mancrick's Multiple Wives have all already experienced their bye weeks. So
Sure.
they're essentially playing, 10 points down, I would say. So it puts them somewhere closer to the middle of the pack. But the most surprising for me is Clowns and APM and the gap that they've created from the third spot. Like, that's 10 points. Those are teams that are doing extremely well. And those two teams have just absolutely blown it out of the water.
For sure. Now, we'll move into an APM match to start our two matches in the Black Conference under the risk of blowing up Bone Masher's ego here. The APM captain himself. I want to bring Neji Boston to tell us what's going on with his biggest competition, Avenging Prophet Murabi.
Yeah, Avenging Prophet Murabi versus F2L. They're the second and third place team behind me and Nail's team. So definitely don't want them to get too many points, and they both got a lot of points. So unfortunate there, but we have Sabretooth 20 taking a 3-2 over Itachi, Reverb 3-2 over Berserk, Rabobson took a 3-1 over Chewy, ABC a 3-2 over QSNS, and Marty B 3-1 over Magnificent. Yeah, very close match as you can see. It ended up in a tie. A lot of 3-2s. The other matches were 3-1s. We have a few players, maybe a few. Well, we got at least one player getting the first win, Marty B, which is nice to see.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, it was a really close match. I got a few words from Bone Masher. He said that both Reverb and Saber reverse swept their matches. So Itachi and
Nice.
Berserk were both up 2-0, and the others managed to come back. So well done to them, and pulled out a tie.
Yeah. Corden, any thoughts on Avenging Prophet Murabi versus F2L?
I mean, this is a tie for the ages. I think this is possibly the most points you could get in a tie from both teams. I mean, they both essentially won this week, right? They're both still undefeated, so that's always a positive for themselves. But it's pretty insane to see that the way that this worked out. Getting
Yeah.
the extra point, APM was able to get the extra point on the week, and still it wasn't enough to give them the win because Rewob and Marty were able to hold off Chewy and Magnificent to just one win apiece in their matchup. So it's really interesting to see stats like this work out, especially with teams that are or 2 and 3 right now in the standings, and maybe that 10-point gap between APM and F2L isn't really all it seems to be, but somewhere along the way, something's got to give. It's either APM, fizzling out and F2L coming on, or they'll just continue the strong point and F2L will be able to catch them.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
That's really a 6-point gap because APM has already had a win in week 4.
We don't talk about week 4 here, Nails.
Yeah, but it's only a
No,
6-point gap.
we don't talk about that. We don't.
Yeah, APM's at 54
Oh,
points, not 58.
my thing says they are not. So I mean, I don't know what you're looking at, man. This is fake news.
That's true.
Now I'll move us to our next match. Nails, do you want to tell us about taggers versus Mancrick's multiple wives?
Yeah, so Taggers put up an 18 spot on Mancork's multiple wives, missing one win out of their maximum possible. Um, Very strong showing. Lasagna dropping their set 2-3 to Wild 9, and then Rice Bowl, Battle Tiger, Otters, and Seth uh, for Christ all taking the wins over MPV, Raptor, Jester, and Duocat respectively. Um,
Mm-hmm.
really strong performing, a really strong showing from the Wild players. They are coming for our jobs.
True. And speaking of wild players, I'm going to ask our wild specialist here, Neji Boston. How did your compatriots do?
Yeah, I am pro Wild player, obviously, been on the winning team in Wild, so you can just call me like one of the best Wild players, clearly. Um, yeah, we have Tigers got a really nice win here. They did a great job. They had a bye in the second week, and they got kind of messed up in the first week. I think they had a DQ loss as well, so this is a huge bounce back for them. These are all really, really strong Wild players in the Wild Series and just on Wild Ladder. So I was expecting them to do pretty well in their transition to Standard, and it looks like they have bounced back. So I'm looking forward to see how they do during the rest of the season.
For sure. And just a reminder, Taggers isn't above everyone's a winner in points per week right now. So even if they don't seem to be doing super hot, they're doing a lot better than it seems.
Yeah, they're currently in playoff space.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any final
Very.
comments? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, just they're neck and neck with everyone's a winner, and it's like way too soon to call it because there's so much season left to be played. But yeah, slightly
Oh, yeah.
they're fourth place by a nose.
Definitely true.
They're actually Taggers and Everyone's a Winner are playing this week. So it's going to
Ooh.
be an interesting matchup to see um, how many points Taggers can get out of it and really catch up with, as Nail said, some probably the really the competition they're fighting with for playoffs right now.
Yeah, that's a huge matchup for playoff race and Black Conference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just as a reminder, if you want to hear about speculation and what's going to be going on next week, you can tune in tomorrow on Tavern Talk, where Fish and his crew are going to give you in-depth look into the best matches for every single THL series. And I hope they're going to talk about taggers versus everyone's a winner. I'm going to put a word on the Discord to tell them to recommend to them to look at it. That said, everyone ready to move to Paint Conference? I'll take that as a yes. Paint Conference had the arrival of a new team to the top of the standings. Chicken, tell me what's going on there.
Yeah, so bit of a surprise here. We have Swagoy tied for first with Brushy Tuna, both at 54 points. Brushy Tuna not really a shock. I think to anyone that they're in the top of the standings of pink. I think a lot of people pick them to be one of the top teams in Pro Series this season. But Swagoy is definitely a team that has kind of been, a middle of the pack team for the past few seasons. I've played against Swagoy. I think they've been in my conference like for the past 3 seasons or so.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they've always been kind of middle of the pack, but off to their best start I've ever seen so far, with 18 points per week. So yeah, going down the rest of the list, we have no pros here at 44 points. Make Love Not Warcraft at 42. EU greater than NA at 40. For the Boys at 32. Popeye's Spicy Chicken Sandwich at 26. Actually, Poem Locked and Loaded and No Pros here are all tied at 26 with Popeye's Spicy Chicken Sandwich.
A lot of players in that 26 spot, a lot of teams, but only one of them had not had a bye yet. Um, Now to talk to us about the first match, we're going to be talking in Pink Conference. Corridon is going to go over Sugoi versus NPH.
Yeah, Sugoi versus, well, not the original NPH. This is the no pros here. Getting very English with it, if you would.
Sure.
These are some of the top performing teams coming out of the Pink Conference right now, and honestly, Swagoi came out swinging, taking as many points as physically possible, other than the 3-2 loss that Validus, or win, I suppose, Validus took over Risen, but Risen still managing to pull 2 points out of it. Glee getting a sweep over Heatshock, and No Glocko taking a 3-1 over Ufric, and then Jarrett Pullet and Idlewigs as well, taking 3-2 wins over their respective opponents. I mean, it's wild to see no pros here. Avi at 0-3 at the moment. And on the other side, Glee and No Glocko 3-0 to combat that. So, it's surprising for sure, but congratulations. Swaggo has been playing absolutely insane right now, and it's really just going up from here. And I don't know if the spicy priest bring from no pros here bit them. I think they all brought the control, and maybe not control priest style, but the very off meta pick, I would say. And unlike Wicked Good, it's not really working out for them.
Sure. Neji, any thoughts on no pros here versus Sugoi?
Yeah. As we know, No Pros here likes to build counter lineups a lot of the time. We see the 4 priests, 5 warlocks, 3 warriors, 4 demon hunters, and 2 rogues. When rogue is by far the best class, um, pretty surprising to only see the 2 rogues, and it kind of looks like it bit them a bit here. Swagoli brought 5 rogues, and they crushed no pros here. So I'm not sure if that's the reason they won, but I will say not bringing rogue is a little bit sus.
Mm-hmm.
Rogue is a good class. It looks like they 4 of them brought Quest Priest, which is a deck that I've had a lot of enjoyment playing on ladder. But my rank tanks when I play it, and so I've stopped
Fair.
playing it.
That's probably a wise decision. Now, I enjoy Quest Priest, but I do agree that it's a little bit worse than we all expected it to be. Maybe not expected, but worse than what it could be with the fun that it provides. Um,
Yeah. Um, yeah, the priest class just is not in a good spot.
no.
I'm curious about what they were, what they expected to see and what they were targeting with the quest priest, because it probably has some good matchups, but not quite sure what they are. And I've played the deck a decent amount.
I think it's good into Paladin. It's usually a Paladin target, right? If I'm not
They,
mistaken.
Um,
they banned
yeah,
3
that sounds about
paladins.
right.
Weird.
Um,
Hmm.
but no pros here banned Paladin 3 times. Admittedly, one of those was C-Mac, who didn't bring Priest, but um,
Fair.
2 of the Aldous and Avi both banned Paladin with their Priest brings.
Fair.
So,
Yeah. I'm
not
not
sure what's up
sure.
with that.
No. Now, I'll move us to our final pro match here in the Pink Conference. We have the type of match that we all like the most, a tie. We have For the Boys facing Popeye's Spicy Chicken. Two teams that they both had their bye weeks and they both have crazy rosters. Chicken, what happened?
Yeah, so the match started out with Lambie series taking it over Dabs 3-1. Well, it was the top seed match, which also happened first.
Mm-hmm.
So starting off the match down, never that great. I think then I played always just in time after that, and I was able to take it 3-1. Then
Sure.
I think I think Shep played Mr. Beluga and won his match. So I think all we needed was, uh, yeah, we just needed Darian to not get swept or have another person win to not tie. Uh, and then Darian got swept, so we were in a kind of a bad spot. And JX match went to game 5, and to win his match he beat Fell DH with Face Hunter.
Wow.
Insanely enough. So
Wow.
we were able to get away with a tie this week. But yeah, I mean, I don't think this is the result either team was really looking for. I think on Popeye's side they were really looking to get into that win column with their extremely stacked roster.
Hmm.
And on our side we were looking to get another win, go 2-0 on our first 2 weeks. But, you know, tying a team as good as Popeye is definitely not too disappointing.
Oh, definitely not. Nails, any thoughts on For the Boys versus Popeye's Spicy Chicken?
Two really good rosters, and um, it seems like a fair result. Surprising to see Dardar get swept, but the teams seem pretty evenly matched, and uh, can't. I don't think either side can claim any injustice about the result.
Mm-hmm.
Seems
Um,
seems fair.
fair. Gordon, anything you want to add to For the Boys versus Popeye's Spicy Chicken?
Not really just for this match, but just pro in general this week. It either seemed it was straight up ties or one team absolutely dominated. I mean, that was kind of the storyline. It was extremely close, 14 to 13s, or actual ties. And then really, it was just a lot of domination from some other teams. So definitely
Yeah,
two sides of a coin for this past pro week.
for sure. Anyone wants to share any final comments before we move back into our main screen? Awesome. So I'll bring us back into the caster's booth to, well, first of all, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. We had a great show. We got to talk about everything that happened week 3. 2 more weeks, and we are going to start going over player power rankings. So you're going to be able to complain how Donde's putting someone who shouldn't really be in first, and please do complain. He welcomes every complaint. You can just flood his DMs. It's totally fine. Sure, he's not going to get mad if that happens. But that said, I want to thank you all for being here with me tonight. Um, we will have our usual checkout question of the night. We know that some content update, something big is coming with patch 22.2. They have said something significant is happening. My question is, what is it? And what do you think it should be? And I am going to start with Nails here. Nails, first of all, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. I hope you had a ton of fun. What are you expecting to see in this patch, other than rogue nerfs, of course?
Well, okay, I'm expecting to probably see some more mercenary stuff. They've been going hard on promoting the mercs, and seems like they're going to just keep that up.
Sure.
Don't know exactly what it's going to be, but that seems like a direction they're probably going to go. And what should it be? It should be rogue nerfs.
Fair.
Um,
Yeah.
like Scabs is absurd, and Cloak of Shadows is a really toxic card given the strategies that are currently available in Standard. And yeah, set it all on fire. Scabs to 9.
All right. Scabs to 9. I like it. I hate Scabs right now when I'm not playing Rogue. Even when I'm playing Rogue, I still hate him because I'm facing a Rogue anyways.
You sure are. Even when you're not fighting a rogue, it's still probably a rogue.
Yeah, definitely true. I want to give a very special thanks to Neji Boston for joining us tonight. Neji, I hope you had a lot of fun. It was great having you. Um, what are your thoughts on the patch that's coming sometime soon? What is happening and what should happen?
Yeah, it was fun as always. Thanks for having me. In regards to the patch, I don't know if they've specified like what game mode the patch is for, or if it's just like a big patch. But if they haven't specified a game mode, I would put my money on a big Battlegrounds update. There really hasn't been a shakeup there for a while, and I
Mm-hmm.
could definitely see them adding a bunch of new content or rotating some things around. I don't really see what they could be doing for standard besides nerfing Rogue. It's not time for the mini set yet, um, unless they're doing some big changes here, which I doubt. So probably not anything for standard besides the nerfs. And then, like Nail said, probably some kind of mercenaries update. But I think primarily it'll be nerfs specifically towards Rogue, and then probably some kind of battlegrounds content.
All right. Um, Chicken, I want to thank you a ton for being here tonight. It was, as always, great having you. And my question to you is, what is going to happen with patch 22.2? What do you think we're going to see, and what should we see?
Yeah, it was a fun show as usual. Yeah, it's been great coming on Hearthcenter this season. Excited for coming on for the rest of the season. And I think there's definitely going to be some BG's changes. Probably Mercs, because it seems like Mercs is pretty dead right now.
Yeah.
Um, I think it does seem too early for a mini set. We might get some sort of mini set teaser soon. I know, late January has often been the kind of timeline for mini set releases, so we'll see. But yeah, other than that, constructed changes. I think I know there's wild players in the chat waiting. Are there going to be wild changes? I think there will be finally. I think wild players have waited probably long enough for some nerfs. Either notably Sorcerer's Apprentice or Ignite are the two big offenders. So I
Yeah.
think aside from the constructed changes to scabs, maybe flow gets hit, and maybe a couple other things, I think we probably will see some wild changes.
Ooh, interesting. I'm not a wild player, but Neji is, and he told me that wild really needs some changes. So, um, believe Neji in this one.
Oh yeah, you always believe Neji. He'll never bait.
Always believe Nudgy. Just
um,
submit his lineup; it'll work.
Now, last but not least, Corridon, I want to thank you so much for joining us this week and for being back. It's always super awesome to have you. And I want to ask you, what do you want to see in this patch? As a big BG's player, do you think this is the time BG's comes back? Well, not comes back, it's the most viewed mode, I believe. But is it the time where they change BG's? Because they haven't been changing it for a bit.
I gotta say, BG's had me for a while, and it really lost me. I don't really know where along the way it lost me, but I do expect them to have a big shakeup here. I think the point two updates are typically BG anyway. I think that's just what they're slotted out to be. So I agree with Neji that it's probably going to be the battlegrounds update, bringing in maybe a new tribe, a bunch of new heroes. Maybe they're gonna put out more cosmetics for it. People are asking for different board states for maybe more bartender, things like that. But I do expect to see some nerfs as well. Rogue is extremely toxic at the moment, but with nerfs, I also like to see buffs, and I wouldn't mind to see a few cards just get tweaked a little bit to maybe we can see, a different meta as it goes along. Not just, nerfing a class into oblivion, but also bringing some up so that they can actually, be a bit better. Away goes the rogues, and out come the druids, and then out come the mages, and it's just it's a slippery slope back to quest mage.
True.
Yeah, as long as they don't buff priest. I
I'm
mean,
down
I
for
was
that.
like, unironically, I was like looking at some like some matchups, and if you nerf rogue and mage, priest gets a lot better.
Oh yeah.
Well,
So
so does
I
Warlock.
If you give anything time and you take away win cons, it's going to be okay. If you take away, Warlock being able to have their big swing turn and then Scab just goes, ha, see you later. Like you know what I mean? So you give any deck time that's a slow deck, it's gonna do well. So, druids, warlocks, priests, they're gonna do well.
Mm-hmm. All right. I believe that is it from us tonight. If anyone has any final words, floor is all yours. If not, I want to one more time thank everyone. I want to thank Corridon, Super Chicken, Neji Boston, and Nails for being here with me tonight. Always a lot of fun having you all. Reminder, Tavern Talk is coming in tomorrow, and I believe there is going to be Wilding Out this Thursday, still to be confirmed. But even if there isn't, there are matches happening on Thursday, there are matches happening on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you'd like to play on stream, you can just message the stream request channel. That seems to be working. Or you can DM me, you can DM Fish, you can DM Saku, you can DM Wild9. We'll make sure to get you on stream. It's a lot of fun. I think everyone here has played on stream way too many times, so we can tell you it's really chill. You get to have some people talking about your play, and it's mostly constructive. We just want to help each other become better players if possible. So, with that, I want to thank you all one final time and have a good night, everyone.